Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Whoo, Messi, this is professional wrestler Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
This is a one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from November the 7th, 1992. This is actually part one of November the 7th, 1992. We'll do part two next week because November the 7th, the TBS show was 2.5 hours long. So we're breaking it in half. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on the video. And lastly, type a comment or two with what you liked or didn't like about the episode. It helps the channel grow and it makes the superstar Hard Body Harper very, very, very happy. Shout out to Disrespectfully Classy Marquis Blassie, Mike Childry, Joe Ice, good old Justin for your generous support on Patreon each and every month and being the sponsors of this show. On that note, Doc, how are you?
Tremendous, doing awesome. But the real question is, how is the AEW's number one fan, Hard Body Harper?
I'm doing great, man. The dynamite, it's about to explode all over y'all's faces, and there's nothing y'all can do about it.
All right.
Oh, my God. That was
There's
after
that.
a long pre-show just now talking about some stuff that's already aired and we're not even going to bring it up. Become a patron. You can hear what we talked about. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT.
Hey, I do have a quick question before we get in the episode. So this is a while back, but this is a big one. Harper, what did you do? Well, I'm going to give away the timestamp here. What did you do yesterday to celebrate the eclipse?
Nothing. I went to work.
Okay, how partial was the
How much could I see?
Yeah.
Fuck
They
it.
couldn't. Yeah. They
It was
couldn't.
100% cloudy, and you couldn't see shit.
And they were nowhere near the path of totality, Doc, so they didn't really see anything.
Bruh, don't tell the fucking local news, motherfuckers.
No. Y'all didn't see nothing. No.
Now, Mike, you were in the path of totality. I don't want to give away your address, but you were in the path of totality.
We all know where Mike lives, 123 Martin Luther King Boulevard.
You are
Which
going
city?
to
They have
hell.
one in every city.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what were your impressions of complete darkness in the middle of the day?
I talked to Harper after it, and I was asking Harper if he remembered the 1983 or 84 when we had New Orleans, where we were like literally just on the outskirt of totality in this one that we had. We were kids, and we didn't have school that day. I was at daycare. I was very young, and they didn't let us go outside. But I remember seeing it getting almost dark outside. When I say we were on the very edge, we were on the very edge of it. It was May 30th of 83 or 84. Can't remember the exact year. And I thought it was cool then. And then yesterday happened. So unless you, like, eclipses are overrated unless you're in the path of totality. Because, bruh, I was outside and somebody turned the sun off. And that shit was wild in the middle of the day because it's quick. It's just a couple of minutes. bro, the crickets started chirping. All the fucking street lights came on. The damn, everybody's porch lights came on. I was like, bro, this is some cool stuff. My wife, who had never even been close to an eclipse, was like, oh my God, I did not know it was going to be like midnight out here. So it was pretty damn cool. And my kids, even the 19-year-old, he was like, damn, this is awesome. The freaking one that's still in high school, she was like, Dad, that was the best day ever. They took us outside at 12:30. We kind of started watching as it happened, and we had our glasses on. And she was like, the kids went nuts. Like, they had a blast. She was like, Dad, best day ever. It was like field day. I'm like, all right. So I think it makes a big difference. If you're just viewing it and you ain't in the, like, you know, part where it just blacks out completely, totality, it's like overrated. But bruh, when somebody turns the sun off in the middle of the day, that's some cool shit, because you don't see it every day.
Well, and everything you just said is true. It was like, I was like, okay, I got a break in the action at work. I'll step outside and take a look. I mean, it's once in a lifetime. And then you're like, oh my God. And I haven't heard anybody that wasn't marking out for this thing. The sun went over yesterday.
Sun gets the Toot Toot Award.
It was phenomenal. Now here's my question, Harper. Let's say that you're living 2,000 years ago.
Oh no.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's a problem to begin with. And you're not thinking about, you know, I don't know, TikTok and whatever. You're out trying to kill that bunny rabbit so that you can eat tonight, I guess. What are you thinking when the sun goes away in the middle of the daytime and there's no clouds?
Oh God, you would think God's about to. It would probably. You would think it'll be like the Judas Priest "Ram It Down" album cover, where it's the fist of God is just coming down on your ass to fucking crush you.
Okay, so let me ask you a following.
Because you ate meat on Sunday.
Correct. We have angered the gods in ways that we don't understand.
Right.
And now we're in a shitstorm of problems that we don't also understand. So now let me explain to you this. So let's say that what happened here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is what happened to these poor, I don't know, Phoenicians or Macedonians or Assyrians or whatever it was back in the day. So during the day, they were out hunting bunny rabbits or whatever they were going to eat, and somebody turned off the sun. That night, here comes the thunderstorms.
Oh, no.
With the hail and the lightning and, you know, tornadoes and all kinds of stuff. On the same day that you turned out the sun.
They'll probably lose their fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you this. It was when you're in the path of totality and you're standing there in your backyard in your gym shorts and it's dark in the middle of the day and you look up and you see that corona in the sky, you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Fuck.
And we got science on our side.
It's like Mars attacks.
Dude, I posted it on Twitter. I was like, imagine living thousands of years ago. Somebody turns the sun off in the middle of the day. Like, these people must have thought God was about to rip your head off, suck your soul out of your ass like you were a Louisiana boiled crawfish, and the world was ended. Because it's really weird when it happens at 1:30 in the afternoon. There's just no sun. And I mean, Harper was like, bro, you mean, was it really like nighttime? Bro, it was like nighttime. It was like nighttime. There's no other way to explain it. The damn lights get turned off. It's like somebody flipped a switch and you're like, what the shit happened? Like I said, the crickets, everything looks like night.
Yeah.
Wow, bro.
Mike's not kidding, man. The crickets started going. I'm like, what the shit?
That's crazy.
Dude, I'm telling you, when you can, let me say this.
It dropped like 5, 6, 7 degrees.
Damn.
Let me say this. When you can I don't say fool, but when teenagers tell you something's cool.
That's right.
Nothing's cool to them. But I got a 19-year-old who's like, oh my God, dude, he's marking out big eyed. Like he just saw like pro wrestling secrets get get revealed and he thought it was still, real. Like he's marking out like, oh, holy shit. And then the other one is at school texting us because she can't believe what she's watching. So you can impress a 19-year-old and 60-year-old. That's pretty damn good. I did see people saying, oh my God, it's overrated. I'm like, I mean, I guess depending on what your view of it was. I know for me, when the light getting completely dark out there, I was like, man, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Here's the thing:
That's crazy.
we're not marks for just anything, but yesterday was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Hey man, it broke up the day. It was cool. I had a doctor's appointment anyway after it, so it was cool. Yeah.
Did you get your prostate checked?
No, I got to get the tickled, but that wasn't yesterday. So I had some other stuff done. But then
He's like,
not
why
that.
you here again? I'm like, Mike's like, I don't know. Y'all want to do it again, huh? Just to be sure. I won't tell.
All right. Doc, don't you have a question for Harper?
Okay, so we're gonna briefly change gears and talk about something here. Mike told me that he had a listener question that he wanted my ruling on, and I don't think it's just my place to rule on this. I think we need to bring Harper into this as well, and that is what's the question again? Sorry.
Are you kidding me?
Come on.
You don't remember the question?
Look,
it was something about Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone, and if he hadn't died, how big would they have been?
Yeah,
Mother
yeah.
Love Bone?
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
fucking know, dude.
How different would 90 Music have been if Andrew Wood didn't die?
I have no fucking idea. How about that?
Doc, you got any other professional insight on this?
I'll try to hit it here. I wonder about that because Andrew Wood had charisma and he was a good performer, but he was also sort of glam rocky in a way. And I'm not sure that would have worked coming out there. And when he died, which was, obviously super unfortunate, the guys in that band ended up becoming Pearl Jam. So I think they did okay.
Right. So
my bigger deal is when you look at Seattle now, Harper, the baby boomers, you can still go see like Foreigner and Journey and REO Speedwagon and all those bands this summer at the Shed, the amphitheater.
But you go see them at fucking Biloxi probably this weekend. They're at Beau Rivage with 38 Special and shit.
The Doobie Brothers and
hold on loosely
and don't let go. If you cling too tight, yeah, you're gonna lose control.
Wow.
We're not gonna have that because there ain't no Alice in Chains and there ain't no Soundgarden and there ain't no Nirvana.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean there is nothing. I mean Pearl Jam's still around.
Everybody else had the good decency to die before they got old and stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can go see Smashing Pumpkins.
That's true.
You can see Smashing Pumpkins. You can still see Pearl Jam. I mean, bro, fucking Limp Bizkit is fucking performing again. You saw that?
No thanks.
They got that kind of shit, and that's, dude. It's over.
Rock and roll's over.
Yeah, dude, it's been over, bro.
That's true too.
I mean, bro, that's like we're watching last night. Cody Rhodes comes out, and Tiffany's like, "Why does he come out to this shitty fucking music?"
My daughter looked at it and said, "Why is his theme song so terrible?"
Yeah, she said the same thing. It's like it sounds like that. I don't know, fucking that like whiny rock from like 10, 15 years ago. I guess that's what he listens to.
While he's getting neck tattoos.
Yeah, well, come on. Green, baby.
That tattoo.
And Seth Rollins' music, too. Sounds like that.
So, any other thoughts on
Yeah, they sound
topic?
just alike. They sound just alike.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's generic. It's not. I don't know. I guess it's not generic, but what would you
I
call
like
it?
Andrew Wood. I like Mother Love Bone. I don't know that it would have translated to be bigger than Pearl Jam.
Yeah, I don't think it would have, dude. The other day, I think it was yesterday. I was actually listening to like the fucking the local rock radio. And fucking Pearl and fucking Jeremy came on. I haven't heard that song in forever. I'm thinking, God, I remember how big this was. This was fucking massive.
And when it came out, as far long ago as that was pre-Beatles.
Right. That was 30 years ago when that shit came out. And that video was on MTV nonstop.
Yeah.
With the kid. He's drawing pictures on mountaintops.
Lemon yellow sun.
And then he hit me with a surprise love. My jaw love hurting.
Harper singing is top.
We're getting old, and that sucks. And speaking of things that suck, let's get into wrestling. In 1992, last week was one of the worst, if not the worst, shows we've ever covered. What we're going to do tonight, as Mike is starting to fire up the video version, is we've decided we think that we've recovered. We got the rape kit for our eyes.
Come on, that's not funny. Right,
oh,
Mike?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's really not funny.
I don't think.
Even though
Mike
Harper was the one who coined that when he said,
where is he?
"My ears."
I don't know. Probably.
Hey.
Y'all can't hear me?
Fucking turd.
What?
I think it's our show. I think it's our show now.
The police showed up?
Y'all really can't hear me?
No, I think it's our show now. I think we own the show. It's ours to do whatever.
I think he's gone, huh?
Yeah. Let's just keep talking and see what happens.
All right.
Y'all really can't hear me?
No.
Now I can hear you.
We haven't heard you say anything for at least 3 to 4 minutes. It's been great. It's been the best 3 or 4 minutes of this show.
Yeah.
Well, how about I could hear you all, so how about I get the video version going?
That's what I was trying to get you to do. And so we're going to start November 7th, but we're only going to cover the first 50 or so minutes tonight because we're going to save this goodness to share with you again next week. Now, I'm going to tell you, I do believe that we're in for a better evening than we had last week when we went through this show. So it would be hard for them to be as bad as they were last week. That would take some real effort.
Oh, you know what, Doc? I think Sublime would have been bigger.
He can't let it go.
If that guy wasn't tapped out.
Do you practice Santeria?
Yeah.
So I one time throughout my travels, I was at the studio down in Austin where they recorded.
That's cool.
And they had the reels on the reel-to-reel tapes, and like Willie recorded there and other people recorded there, and we were talking to the engineer at the time about stories, and he goes, "Man, we did that not too long ago. We did that Sublime, you know them?" And we're like, "Yeah, kind of, yeah, whatever." He's like, "That dude was so messed up that he would record like a part, and then they would nod out. He would nod out, and then he would record a part, and that whole record is just them splicing tape together to try to get coherent stuff." So, everybody, go break out your Sublime records.
Well, not speaking of Sublime, let's get into the first half of November the 7th, 1992. Taped at Center Stage on November 2nd of 92. 2.5 hour episode of Saturday Night, which we already said and Doc said we're breaking up into 2 weeks. So we're going to cover half of it here and the other half next week. It's a packed house over in Center Stage. 750 people are there, according to the history of WWE.com. In the show introduction, Jim Ross welcomes us into center stage. Jake Roberts is with JR. He tells Sting it is not over. So more to come on that. Doc, any opening thoughts on what they show JR and Jake before we get into the first match, which we'll get to shortly?
You know, we talked about this a minute ago, but at what point were these people smelling themselves enough to say, you know, we're really hitting on all cylinders. What we need to do is more product.
That reference being to the 2.5 hour episode.
They should have been in the penalty box this week and not even done a show after last week.
This just looks so dated here. It's just like this shit here, the intro.
I don't think it looks dated.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But
Really?
It's a record. This version is not super clean because it's the VCR.
No,
You know, this is from what someone taped, so it's not as clean as some of the other copies we have. But
What
I don't think it
happened
looks
to the
dated.
commercials?
Some of the copies I have commercials. Some of them they cut out. I don't know. I can't
God
speak.
damn
I
it,
wasn't the
bro.
original one who taped this stuff, so I couldn't tell you that. But you know, the commercials are cool, but like we talked about, it kind of gets old after a while because it's the same ones.
Yeah.
And then you do get the occasional new one, which is really cool. But it's like after a while, it's like they're just replaying the same ones over and over. So, all right, Doc, we go to the first match. It is Kensuke Sasaki, who's in his wrestling debut on Saturday Night, versus Chick Donovan, who always makes me laugh whenever I see him. Doc, let me go to you. Any thoughts on this? Or
I was going to come back to you.
Sure.
What's the deal with Chick Donovan? Why is he always clowned on in the kind of smart circles?
I don't know. I've never met him, but everybody I know that's met him, they say he's really cool. Like
He still
don't
looks
know.
good.
Yeah, he still looks.
He's
really
old
good for
there
his
too.
age.
He's old there, right?
I mean, he's not old.
He's in his
It's funny
40s,
you
huh?
say he's old there, but like he's double what he is here now, and he still looks pretty damn good. Joe Kane told me this story one time about him, Harper, that they were at like I guess the Gulf Coast Wrestle reunion that they always have yearly. He said Chick Donovan was there, dressed to a T, and he's got these. I don't even know how to describe them. These dress shoes that just are basically squared at the toe. And he was like, dude, Chick Donovan is a character. That's all he told me. But I never met Chick. But everybody I know that's met him is like thinks he's a really cool dude. So I don't know why people do that.
I know he did some jobs in WCW when I was a kid. He looks good though, as Harper said. He's got a look. He knows how to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a great physique. Always did. If you see, I've seen clips of him where he's out there doing dick dancing.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I bet that was number one in rotation.
He's got a good physique, man. I mean, like I could. he's got personality. I don't know, man. It's weird when you think about him.
I always have, we've talked about this on this show, but I've always wondered about guys like him and Rip Rogers. Just, what was it?
Yeah.
I think that old conversation we had where guys get like pigeonholed into a certain thing, and people just can never see them beyond that, which sucks. Because I think that kind of happened to Brad Armstrong a little too. That's the only thing I can think of. Because, I mean, like when you look at guys like Brad or Rip or Chick Donovan, there's just three guys that we could name. It's not like they couldn't do the moves. It's not like they didn't have personality. I mean, should they have been world heavyweight champion? Maybe not, but it just seemed like they got pigeonholed. Like they just didn't rise above a certain level, and I don't think that's their fault at all.
It's like Christopher Reeves. You just see him as Superman forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what he
Typecast.
does. You're right.
They got typecast. Is that the
I mean, if he was still alive today, could James Gandolfini be anybody but Tony Soprano?
No. That's why
I
saw something with John Goodman and someone asking why did he do the Flintstones 2, the second one. He said because he didn't want to spend the rest of his life with people coming up to him saying yabba dabba do.
Bro. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get typecast.
So is Kensuke Sasaki our babyface here?
I don't know.
I don't think is he?
Let me answer the question. Supposed to be.
Okay. I didn't. That's kind of odd too, isn't it? I mean.
Well, I mean, yes and no, and more on that later.
Okay. That's
but I think
certainly a strange answer, but okay.
Well, no, because he's going to be training with Eric Watts. So, like, the definite position of him is supposed to be babyface, is what I'm saying. But it depends on how you take Eric Watts, which we know how we take him at this point. That's why I said, like, yes and no.
So the finish got missed here. Would you like to expound upon that?
Uh-oh.
Well, Sasaki comes off the top rope and misses a bulldog. But then he sends Donovan, like, he literally flies past him. And I guess he realized he sent him past him. So then he sends Donovan into the ropes and he hits him with this arm drag off the ropes. I call it an arm drag, but it's really not. I've seen him use that. So that is supposed to be his finisher. When you said missed, were you referring to Donovan kicking out like at 3.1 or were you referring to the missed bulldog?
What the hell was that?
I was talking about missing the bulldog.
Yeah. He definitely missed the bulldog. He overshoots him. But then I'm telling you, like, Donovan did a Hogan when Hogan was wrestling Warrior, kicking out at 3.05 seconds. I mean, it's clear. Watch. Like,
that's a good
one,
move.
2. Yeah, it is.
Somebody would do that. Yeah, that's like 3.1.
I got a question for you, Harper.
What?
So if you go back to Jake there and he doesn't have the cans on, I meant to call this out in the open, but he's got a dangling earring. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I thought I saw something fucking hanging from his face.
Have you ever known anybody to have a dangling earring that contributed positively to society?
No. No.
Some asshole smoking Marlboro freaking lights or something with the dangling earring. Is that what you're saying, Harper?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's probably driving like a 78 fucking Thunderbird still with the fucking beer bottle rolling around on the floorboard.
Oh, man.
Y'all want to go shoot some pool?
Yeah, I'm not saying that they never contributed anything in their life, but when you were in that phase, because I have a friend that may be listening to this show when I met him had a dagger earring that dangled. Jeez. And during that period, he was up to no good, but he is a very prosperous and well-adjusted member of society today. But while you're wearing
he was a kid, though.
21.
Oh, God.
That's still kind of a kid, though. No, that's you're a kid at that age. Come on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what does how you know you're a kid. Or why I say that now. I got a 19-year-old and I look and go, God, I think about where I was at 19 versus now. You're a kid. You just don't see it at the moment. But you're a kid.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'll give a pass on 19, 20, 21, 22 to Doc's buddy.
What about 35-year-old Jake out there?
No.
Well, that's a different story. The crack still has a hold on him. So, yeah. No.
I bet that jacket just reeks of fucking cigarette smoke, bro.
I had another question later to ask you what that jacket
is. My bad. I didn't mean
that jacket smells like cigarette smoke, and he's probably got a bottle in the fucking pocket. Because I had a fucking leather jacket, fucking when I was in, high school or whatever, late teens, and I used to come in from the bar, bruh, and you would just place it, like, on the chair in the kitchen, and my mom would be like, God damn! And it was just stink. And it's crazy. Like, I walked around smelling like that every fucking day, bro.
Proudly too, strutted
Yeah.
while you were walking.
Yeah, you pussy.
Man, how many substandard ratchet ass vaginas has that leather jacket been in a room with?
Oh God, that day.
No, over the course of time.
God,
Jeez.
a lot.
Y'all just ran off the new listener of the week, man.
Who?
Yeah,
I'm
who
just
is this
saying.
person?
Yeah, go subscribe, asshole, and then you can leave. You can't
Right.
leave until you hit that bell or the little thumb thing.
He's right.
Harper's not lying, man. I remember, Harper, do you know where Mr. C's pool hall is in New Orleans East?
Yeah, bruh. They got it. It still exists. I was driving through Slidell, and I'm like, I was driving down Gauls Boulevard. I just happened to look over. It's like, Mr. C's. What the fuck?
In Slidell?
Yeah, it's off of Gauls Boulevard in some little shithead strip mall. Like, they got the fucking parrot and everything. It's like, it says fucking Mr. C's pool hall. It's like, look at that shit.
So it's not in New Orleans East anymore?
Oh, God, it hasn't been there in, dude, probably, I mean, Katrina, you know, what, 20 years ago?
You can't move
No,
away.
I think it reopened after Katrina because my
did
partner
it?
was telling me he went. I thought he told me he went one time. But what I was going to tell you was, so I would go in there because I would hang out in the East a lot. Yeah, I know. Go ahead and make your jokes. You know, I know. Anyway, I would go in Mr. C's and you know, that's just, it's crazy to think, bro. I was in there from the time I was 17 and it's just nuts. It blows my mind I would be in places like that at 17. But anyway, and bro, I can remember coming home and my mom obviously didn't know where I was at, right? Like she didn't know I was in Mr. C's with my partners. And she's like, Jesus Christ, what you been smoking? You smell like a chimney stack. You know, because I'd come in the house and just smell and reek like cigarette smoke. She thought I was smoking. I smelled so bad. I was like, Ma, I never, and it's the first shoot. I never started smoking. I'd never smoked. So she just, but I stunk. And she was like, your clothes are never going to get that smell out of them. And she was right. If you had a jacket on or something, bruh, that jacket was shot.
Mm-hmm.
So Jake's jacket smells like a combination of Badussi, Marlboro Reds, and funk, like with Rite Aid, with Right Guard trying to cover it.
Yeah.
Now, if you'd have waited, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years, you could have had some Axe body spray.
Well, how was Mr. C's?
It was chilling there, man. Like, I mean, you know, you had a bunch of old brothers in there, you know, shooting pool, drinking. I mean, it was straight, man. Like, I never was in there when anything ever broke out. Like, I always, every time I was in there, I mean, I seen dudes getting arguments, but like, I don't know. It never really, nothing ever popped off in there. It was chill,
now,
man.
what would have happened if me and Harper walked in looking for a pint?
I mean, they would have. I mean, the New Orleans East, there still were, you know, a couple of handfuls of white people that lived out there. So every now and then you see some white folks in there. Not a lot, but I mean, it was a chill place. It just was. It looked really rough. Like if you just was driving through, I mean, you wouldn't stop.
It was an old time saver, wasn't it? That's what it looked like.
I think it was at one point in time. I think so. But it was chill. It was a pool hall, bro. You go in there, have some drinks, shoot some pool. You know,
imagine going in there and starting a tab and getting them a credit card. They'll probably lose their fucking mind.
Well, yeah, in the 90s, nobody did that. The early 90s at that. I mean, come on. But yeah, man, I used to like going in there. It was chill. Anyway, speaking of chill, Teddy Long is chill with Sting after that match. He's backstage with Sting. Harper, these are the lockers behind Sting. We're going to get a better look at them in the coming weeks, but just keep an eye on those lockers and let's hear what Sting's got to say in his quick promo.
Well, these were the lockers. I assume those were the lockers at that when they were in Philly.
Okay, maybe I'm getting them confused. There's going to be some red ones that'll pop up, so this might not be them. But there's going to be some red ones that pop up.
That's when you first saw these was when they had the Halloween Havoc in that old building in Philly when they were interviewing all the Japanese guys or whatever. That's the first time I saw them.
So do we think that was taped in Georgia or in Philly?
Possibly taped. And that's why they're throwing back to Teddy. But let's go to it now. Let's see. I don't know. I have to pay attention to what Sting's got on versus what he's got on when he comes out. But let's go to Teddy Long and Sting now.
Sting, I know that you're excited about this big event tonight, the King of Cables competition. I know right here on TBS later on tonight you're going to be involved in our second main event match, and you'll be taking on Flying Brian Pillman, a man that has certainly changed his attitude. At one time was one of your closest friends. What are your comments tonight about facing Flying Brian?
Changed his attitude. I'd call it more like a serious attitude. He needs a serious attitude adjustment, and I got a serious attitude, and I want to straighten his attitude out. Woo!
Well, you've heard it from Sting. Let's go and hear some exciting news about the Clash of the Champions coming your way.
All right, so we'll see. We'll talk about Sting versus Pillman next week in the King of Cable tournament. He's ready to take him on and take his attitude away. And then, so Doc, any thoughts on that?
That was bewildering.
Yeah.
It was something.
It was something. It was a promo, all right.
We go from that to a plug for the upcoming Clash of the Champions that is going to air on Wednesday, November the 18th. So we're several weeks away from that based on the fact that we're going to do 2 weeks on this show, and then next week's or the November 14th episode is also going to be broken up into 2 parts because it's a long one. But we got a Clash of the Champions coming up. It'll be on Patreon, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. And we're also getting close as we get to the end, mid-November, to Starrcade coming up in a month. That'll be on the free feed, though, so we'll work our way there. But anyway, they plugged the Clash, more on the Clash, obviously, coming up. From there, we go to Johnny B. Bad versus Bob Starr. Doc, not a very long match. What do you have from this one?
And Johnny B. Bad has a full look going on as you see him come out right there. Can you explain that, Harper?
I thought it was like Santa Claus when he first came out. But, man, he's got the feather in his hair, and he's all the way live.
That's a brother, man. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
No, he's not.
That's a brother. That's a brother.
That's a Sicilian man.
That's amazing. Still dying to see his
Look at Bob
footage.
Starr, though. Look at this fella. How would you describe him?
You know what? I've always wondered what the asshole kid from fucking Terminator 2 looked like growing up. Now I know.
I said, leave it there, Mike. I said if you drove to Jiffy Lube and that guy's about to start on your car, you'd be like, hold on a second. I think I want somebody else.
I don't know. It's not that hard to change oil.
I mean, that guy drives a tow truck.
He's got a red. Look at that red mullet, Harper.
I know, huh? Look at that.
Can we say the word?
Huh?
Is the word ginger okay? Is that
ginger?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that to be an offensive term yet as describing a redheaded person.
Okay. Man, I wish Johnny B. Bad would have wrestled with that feather in his hair.
That would be beautiful.
Hey. Thoughts on the match, Doc? Because he's not going to wrestle with the feather.
No, this is where I quit taking notes.
Well, you didn't miss much. I mean, it's pretty damn quick. He's going to hit the sunset flip off the top rope, and then he pins Starr, and Starr hasn't had enough after, though, and he gets up and goes after Bad, but Bad beats him up and then hits him with the left hook and knocks him out. So we got a finish, and then we got basically another finish, and that was that from Johnny B. Bad. Here it is.
That sounded right to me.
There you go.
1, 2, 3. And then it's a pretty good move because he's got to jump far with that sunset flip. And then, like I said, Starr's going to come after him right here. But, Doc, I got to ask, anything else from this before we go to whatever the hell is coming?
We need to go see the whatever the hell is coming.
All right, give me a second. Let me get to it because, Jesus, Lord. I don't know what the hell is happening here. So we're about to go to Johnny B. Now remember, we saw footage of Johnny B. Bad and Scotty Flamingo. I'm going to call it having a promo off, like they were going at it.
Yeah.
All right. So welcome to that again, part 2. Here it is.
Back with Johnny B. Bad, who made a very successful re-debut here in WCW, Johnny.
I'll tell you, Jimmy, I feel great. And you know one thing is everyone here knows that I'm a bad man. Woo! And Jimmy, you know, it just goes to show that a lot of guys don't play by the rules, and that's why I had to kick his Buddha with my Tutti Frutti.
Wait a minute, Johnny, I gotta come out there because I gotta say, you've been telling all these people I'm prettier, but you ain't pretty. See, look at his body. Look at his face. Look at his beautiful hair and these big brown eyes. See, that is why. That is why Cindy Crawford calls me for beauty tips, and I am the prettiest man in World Championship Wrestling.
Let me tell you something, Scotty Flamingo. It's a pity that you're not as pretty as Johnny B. Bad, because everybody's trying to look like me. Everybody's trying to dress like me. But it's a shame that he just is not as pretty as Johnny B. Bad. Because you know something, Scotty? I got something that will make you look pretty, though.
Something for me?
That's right. And this is called the kiss that don't miss. Now you're pretty.
Hey! Good grief!
You know
What are you doing?
You know what, Johnny?
Come here.
That's the kiss. It don't miss.
Get. Oh, Johnny B. Bad nailed with a handful of coins here, and they're all over the place. What a sucker punch by Scotty Flamingo. Talk about dimming somebody's running lights. Johnny B. Bad just got nailed with a handful of coins here. And as they help Johnny B. Bad out of the ring side area here, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back up to Rhubarb Jones.
Boy, did you hear the crowd go nuts after that?
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck. It's like a gay off.
That is exactly the note I had. I said, he's gay, and does that make this a gay off? Exact notes. I got to take a picture and show you. I mean, I had gay off, and not in a bad way. Just they're
I don't even
being gay.
It's like they're trying to show who's the most feminine, but tough at the same time.
Well, Johnny B. Bad one.
I mean, this is happening on Bill Watts' watch. Like I said the last time we saw this.
Yeah.
Just pointing that out. Just saying. Like this just amazes me because I'm just amazed by what. It'd be different if it was good TV, like if it made sense, but it's just random, comes out of nowhere.
And you can tell that you know, I hate to get D-Man up, but you could tell Scotty right there.
Scotty
is not super comfortable doing this.
Yeah,
Scotty.
It's almost like he's trying to do the remember in A Living Color with the two gay guys that would do the movie reviews.
Yes.
That's what it seems like he's trying to. You're right. That's what it seems like he's trying to do.
Men on film.
Men on film. Boy, you want to talk about a show that they wouldn't get made today?
Oh hell no, dude!
My God, that show was hilarious too.
With fucking Jamie Foxx being a big woman.
Bruh.
That's like a cross-dresser.
Yes. I forget what his name was supposed to be, or her name was.
Hey, I got you.
Dude, that show would not be made today.
I got you. Oh, the handicapped superhero.
Right. Dude, they broke all the rules. That show broke all the rules. You had the handicapped superhero. He would not fly out the window, but fall out. Bro, they did so much. My God. Mo Money. What did they call themselves? They literally WWE made a gimmick out of it with
right.
Shad and JTG.
Yeah.
Not the Street Profits. What did they call them, Doc?
Crime Time.
Yeah,
Crime Time. Like that was, at least to me, that was based on the In Living Color skit.
1,000%.
And I mean, like they weren't. Oh, the world was different back then. I don't know what the hell's happening here with these two. Stay tuned. I don't even remember where it goes, if it goes anywhere. But that's all I got. Steve Austin's taking on Ricky Nelson. I thought for a second when he came out and when he raised his hand, Steve Austin being that he was giving the middle finger with the right hand that was up, but I don't think it was. It's just kind of grainy footage. Anyway, Doc, your thoughts on this?
Did you hear at the beginning that Stone Cold is billed at 258 pounds?
That's a stretch.
I think he's about 240?
I was going to say 235 was mine.
Yeah.
I was going to say about 230, but the one note I had from this, Doc, was the finish. When he does that stun gun.
Hold on. I want a couple of things. During the match, Jake says that Stunning Steve could be world champion one day.
You wasn't lying.
Yeah. And it was funny because that's who he cut the promo on when he cut the 316 promo was Jake.
He needs to get a cheap bottle of that Thunderbird and get some of that courage he had in his prime.
There you go. Now,
speaking of Thunderbird, there's a bottle of Thunderbird in Jake's jacket. I guarantee you.
Now,
yeah.
Can you play 1710?
You want the audio from it?
Yeah, I have good commentary from Jake.
All right, let's see what he says. Here it is. We're at 1704.
Foreman grabbed him by the forehead and the finger just slid into his eye.
I'm sure.
That slam is an accident. He picked him up and slammed him there. Let me tell you what that does to you, Jim Ross. You ever been slammed?
No, sir.
Makes all your insides jump around. That's what it does. I mean, you can actually feel different body parts inside moving from side to side. You get enough of those, it'll end your career. Over the long term, it works on the lower back, the hips, everything gets all stove up, and you get to where you can't walk. But that's arthritis now, is it? Well, maybe not.
Irish whip. He missed a clothesline there.
Yeah.
I think Jake's
Not
breaking
bad.
down and what the wrestling business feels like. That and the crack.
He's not wrong. What else?
During the match, we get a "We Want Sting" chant, which I'm surprised actually we don't get more of in center stage because it's the kids, it's free, blah blah blah.
Anything else?
I do not, absolutely cannot hate the stun gun as the finisher.
Well, I kind of like it here because you know how Harper sometimes will see something, his commentary is like, yeah, fuck you. Like the way, I want you to watch this. The way Austin picks this guy up and just throws him to drop him across the top rope. He's like, screw you. Like, watch how he tosses this dude. It's like,
fuck you, asshole.
Right.
There you go.
1, 2, 3. I don't like it as a finisher, but it's all right. I give it that, you know. Any other thoughts, Doc, before we continue?
We're certainly doing better this week than we did last week. I'm not saying that this is the greatest wrestling of all time, but it is a lot better than last week so far.
Agree. We go to several clips in the next segment of Watts winning a few matches, and then JR throws to Tony Schiavone having that sit down that he had with Eric Watts that I believe we already talked about, although I don't remember. Maybe this is a different one. Anyway, we then
so I had seven.
This is a
talking about the
one,
Watts?
Well, there was a clip of him winning a bunch of matches, and then JR throws to Tony having that sit down with Watts. And I was thinking we saw this one, but this is a different one.
This is a different one. We had Dustin last time, plus they had the that video of him.
We saw one when you weren't here.
Beach. But we get to this point And I had 7 letters written down for this Watts thing. Would you like to guess what those 7 letters are?
7. What?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
GTFOH FF.
All right. Eric Watts getting on your nerves?
Yeah.
He doesn't look like some jock dipshit from that time, huh?
It's the brother. He's got so much working against him. It's the presentation. He's boring, and he's boring because he's so young. Like it just doesn't. It's just bad. He sounds boring. Like when he's talking to Shivani at the beginning of this, Harper. Like I mean, he just sounds so monotone and boring.
Looks like he could be in that movie, the program.
It would be a better role than this.
Yeah.
That's not saying much though. Like I at one point hated Eric Watts. Like just was like, this is ridiculous. But then like I've come around to the fact that this dude was put in one of the worst situations impossible, or one of the worst situations and impossible situations ever. Like your dad's the boss, you're thrown in there, and it's just you have no personality, no personality. Like this dude, watching him is like having a conversation with a sheetrock wall. It's like nothing's happening here. I mean, I would say paint drying, but at least paint drying is doing something, although at a slow rate. It's just like talking to a piece of sheetrock with him. He's no personality. There's nothing there. It's bland. It just doesn't work. But what part that kills me, Doc, is when Shivani's talking to him, and then they throw to the training session, he's talking about wrestling and making kids in his neighborhood say uncle when he was young. I'm like, what? It's just terrible. Terrible.
I didn't see that part.
I mean,
sounds great.
Yeah,
could he be any more?
Yeah.
Could he be
drawing money now?
Doc, take your hatred or thoughts about Eric Watts out of it. Could they have done him any, like, just take him out of it? The decision makers, could they have done an any worse service to him?
It's almost like Watts lost a card game to Dusty and said, all right, we'll put as many strikes on my kid as you want and see if I can get out of it.
It's just bad, bruh. When they show him training, he's training with Sasaki, Matsuda, and Chono. They're I guess they're trying to have that be the level of credibility that he gets that we were just watching on the video. Is that how you took it, Doc?
Which isn't terrible unless you have other things working against him, right?
He's like, yeah, no personality. What were you about to say, Harper? I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was just trying to get the commentary in over what they were talking about. You were saying something about him and Tony Schiavone or something about Watts.
I don't remember. Because you cut me off, Mike.
My fault. I shouldn't have did that. I should have let you go.
Well, you know how they used to get him over? They used to show the security tape of when him and Arn Anderson fight. I'm telling you, that's going to get ratings, dude.
Bruh. They are going to show the quote unquote footage of when him and Arn get into a fight on the street and Atlanta's finest show up to break it up. We will see footage of that.
To get more subscribers, you should show that security video of Lance attacking Mike Crockett because you didn't have him on to fill in for Doc.
Yeah, or about because apparently the JV Goon Squad is ready to roll at all times.
Yeah, I'm trying to get.
They're in a constant state of preparedness.
They're like volunteer firemen. They just sit around the fucking Skype and just keep waiting to see that ding, 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 doot, doot. Mike Mills, come on, it's 7:00.
By 7:18, they're like, guess it's not my week this week.
God damn it.
The best part about Crockett being on the show last summer when he did several episodes with us he made the mistake of saying, "This is my me time." Like, dude, what are you, abroad? What is happening here? Oh, man. Good stuff. All right. Doc, any other thoughts on Eric Watson, his training session and his interview with Shimano?
I gave you 7 letters. What else do you want?
Well, then let's go to Michael Hayes, who does have something to say. Here he is, looking like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Michael, you saw it as well as we all did. Eric Watts certainly getting some great tutelage from the great Japanese athletes. What are your thoughts about your matchup later in this program?
You're going to need a lot of great tutelage. As you stated, 2 weeks ago, a mishap happened. The intruder couldn't get the job done. Last week, I'm out here with Bobby Eaton. I'm in my gorgeous street clothes. I've got street shoes on where I could get no traction. And he has the audacity to put his hands on me, and then the referee counts me down. Well, you shut up. You take a look right now at what I have on, Pally. It is wrestling attire. And though I'm a multi-talented guy, I have to carry him through WCW main event Sunday night every week. I write music. I haven't wrestled that much lately, but I sure ain't forgotten how to fight. And that's what you're going to be in for, the fight of your life. But don't worry about messing up a family tradition, because I won my first major title by beating your old man in Shreveport, Louisiana. I don't care if they don't like it. You're not gonna, and there's 2 things he can do about it. Nothing and like it.
Fans,
what do you think about Hayes right there, Doc? And
he was going good. He got tripped up, and this is not the only time in the program where they bring the music out before somebody's done cutting their promo.
Yeah, they're on time cues, man.
Yeah.
He went over.
I mean, he's all right. I'm not down on what he did there.
I just don't understand why they put Watts in positions like that, in that position. I mean, make him a heel first until he gets his legs under him. Just he's so unlikable that the heels are cutting heel promos on him, and they become the likable ones because they're not lying.
Or just put a mask on him and just have him be, whoever first.
The masked turd.
The mask.
No.
The masked cardinal.
No. Just if you're gonna make him Eric Watts, do it, but make him a heel. It's easier to be a heel. It's easier to get people to dislike you than to get people to like you. Especially with the nepotism going on here. Just make him a heel, make him come out there and say something bad about daddy and run down a bunch of veterans like he's a conceited asshole. I was a, 5-star recruit. I played against, Florida State and Ohio State and I beat him. I don't know, tell a bunch of lies. Like, do that with him. But what they're doing with him here, it's dumb.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of things that are dumb and maybe weird, man, JR is about to throw to Scotty Flamingo, who's now backstage with Tony Schiavone.
First of all, my first comment was, what a goof. But then I had a thought. What if they went to the back and since the last time we saw him, he had morphed into the Raven character and was standing back there in Raven instead of, that would have been better than that would have been better than this for sure.
Yeah, because he leaves after this and goes to the WWF when he's
Johnny Swinger.
When he's the goofy manager guy.
Johnny Polo.
Yeah, Johnny Polo.
Well, speaking of goofiness, here it is.
Karoo Mary with Tony Schiavone. Tony, I'm sure that brash young man's got plenty to say.
Thank you very much, Jim. You're exactly right.
Stop, Tony, stop. I know what you're going to say. But listen, I got to get my change. I lost my change. See, I come out to the interview area, and Johnny B was talking. He was talking some kind of nonsense. And then he tried to sucker punch me. Well, I got my wheels. I started floating and singing, bobbing and weaving, and boom, I waffled him. Now, everybody knows that Johnny B ain't got no glass jaw. And I caught him. It felt to me like it was a glancing blow. And he dropped like the stock market on Black Monday. That's right. So I was floating and stinging, brother. And anyway, so Johnny B, he tried to do that to me. And that's what happens because I am the prettiest man in World Championship Wrestling. And you see that. I have the hardest knockout punch in the sport today because Johnny B, he's a former amateur champion. He's a former Golden Gloves champion. And I took him out with one punch. And that is why I have the most powerful right hand in the sport today. And I am, as always, the prettiest man in World Championship Wrestling.
Okay, Jim, let's go back to the ring.
Okay.
Can you imagine that this guy was going to turn out to be a hell of a promo like Raven? You could have. Wow.
That's what I was saying when we first saw him and he was starting to do this. I'm like, that's Raven.
Unbelievable.
You know what I'm thinking watching that? This is 93, right?
Two.
In 1993, if a gay guy put that red heart thing on your face, what would have most of the male population would have done?
Light him up.
What just happened? So that's almost like a face move.
Especially if he pulled it out from his drawers like he did.
Right.
Oh, you're saying that Scotty Flamingo, it was a face move for him to punch bad.
Right.
Yeah, I got you. If
they dude taking some sticker heart out of his drawers and sticking it on your face, what motherfucker?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I ain't no punk, bitch.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
CC's, dog.
Yeah, I think you're onto something with that.
Can you imagine Watts and Dusty trying to explain this to the guys? Now you're going to be gay,
but you're going to be the good gay, and he's going to be the bad gay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is happening on Watts's watch, which that shouldn't shock me, but it does because I've seen him book really good stuff in Mid-South, and I'm just like, whose idea was this? Because I just don't see it being Watts's idea. It's just weird, man. It's like a time warp. I don't know. It's strange.
Very strange.
But we go to the next match, and it is Joey Maggs versus Bob Cook, and they call this the Underdog Challenge match. We're going to see this for several weeks. Man, the crowd was quiet during this. They're not making noise at all. Doc, your thoughts?
I actually liked it.
I didn't say it was bad. I said the crowd was quiet.
I know, but the thing that used to always get me when I was a kid is, how can I take this guy seriously if I've never seen him win a match?
Yeah.
So I thought for sure that we were going to get Maggs to go over, but the crowd was dead. But I also said if it's short, then it's good. The other thing we get is we get a cut to the crowd. We see Gary Juster along with Bob Mould of Husker Du, and the criminally underrated band Sugar, as well as a very successful solo career. Bob Mould is tremendous on every level.
Yeah, with the jobber guys, I used to think, like, why are they still doing this? Why are you doing lose? It's like, why you keep trying?
Learn your lesson. Stay down.
Yeah, it's like a pitcher that keeps throwing balls and ball. It's like, why is he still here?
So I didn't mind this at all. Again, as long as it's short and it serves a purpose, then okay.
Harper's got a good point. I used to think that too. Whenever you would see, especially the jobbers that you always saw lost, like the ones you saw every single week, it felt like
you'd be in Dallas, you'd get Mike Bond. I need to see Mike Bond beat somebody.
I used to always wonder, is like, why did this guy agree to this?
Right.
Because we all know what's about to happen against the big boss man, bro. We all know what's about to happen against the one-man gang. Why did you agree to this?
Yeah.
So I like the concept here. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think they've done versions of this before. It just doesn't last very long. But I mean, it does make sense because you need to have a guy win sometimes, which we do see from here with Bob Cook. He's going to defeat Joey Maggs. Any other thoughts, Doc, on this before we go to Rick Rude and Medusa?
Man, I mean, Bob Cook's on a heater now. Put him with Tex and Shanghai. Let's get a 6-man going.
Bob Cook's good. He's just a.
He is.
What you about to say, Harper?
Look at Medusa.
Deuce.
What are we looking at with her, Harper?
Her tits.
Whoa.
Wow.
Fucking
Whoa.
What is wrong with you, man? Grow up.
What are we doing?
But she's hot.
This doesn't feel like working the room anymore, Mike.
You know, Harper, bro, I try to take you serious. I tune into the show. I get hour, 5 minutes into it, and I got to hear you talking about Medusa's tits. You know, the problem is you think you're fucking funny. You ain't fucking funny.
But she's. I forgot how hot she was back then.
I agree.
How did you forget?
I'm with Harper. Like it went away, but it's back.
Yeah, because I'm always think of like, okay, Missy, right?
Yeah.
Missy.
I think people. You know why I think you think like that? Because you think of her more as a wrestler and not like a valet.
That's true.
But then when you see her with these dresses on, looking freaking stunning,
all the way
you're
down.
You're
her
like,
hair's done.
Oh yeah, you're like, oh my god. Well, speaking of Medusa, let's go to her and Rick Rude here and see what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, stakes are high in the single elimination tournament. Two great stars, Rude and Wyndham. What are your thoughts about the matchup still to come in this broadcast?
The King of Cable, appropriately named. You're talking about all the greatest contenders in the WCW bumping heads for the title, the King of Cables. And what better place to start than with a seasoned veteran, a man who was born, bred, and raised to be a wrestling champion. I'm talking about Barry Windham. Today, Mr. Windham, we find out if you really can live up to your bloodline. I don't think so.
Should be a tremendous matchup, no doubt about that. And the situation with some of your associates in a dangerous alliance seems to have escalated. Michael Hayes made some strong comments about Eric Watts.
The situation is with Cowboy Bill Watts, Boxcar Willie, if I may. You see, the man's been trying to railroad me since he arrived in the WCW. He sits up in the safe confines of his nice, plush office building, shielded by the title of Executive Vice President, and he continues to throw bombs down at ravishing Rick Rude. But what Bill Watts needs to realize is that he has an exposed nerve out on the front line. It's called family, Watts. And your bouncing baby boy, Eric, is a babe in the woods, and the woods are crowded with hungry wolves. And today when he steps in the ring against Michael P.S. Hayes, your son is going to be forced to pay some dues for your dirty deeds. And I'm going to sit back and love every minute of it.
God, he's so good. Doc, thoughts?
Well, he called him Boxcar Willie, which I know made you happy. And
why would you say that?
I don't know, just bagging on Watts.
Oh, running him down? I mean, did he tell any lies there?
No, but he told him you're exposed nerve. That's good stuff. You know, your kid's got to pay some dues, and we're going to make sure that happens today.
He's a babe in the woods, and he's surrounded by wolves.
Boy, that's a shoot too.
That was the exposed nerve line was phenomenal.
Yeah,
because there's nothing but truth there, and I got to come back to this guy in a second. But I wanted to finish giving thoughts on that promo. Doc, anything else?
The music is horrible.
That's the bumper music. It's been like that for a while too.
Know. It sounds like you're watching Johnny Carson or something.
Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
It's left over from the talk show era that we had for just a few months.
You know, Watt said, "Well, if we can't get any good Barber Mandrell, then we don't need to do any changes."
Dude, you know, as I've gotten older, there is something to not listening to young people at certain points, especially when you're talking about a demographic for your TV product. Bill Watts is old and past his time. He really needed some younger blood in there to help him. And I know he's got people in there like JR, who I'm sure are recommending things, but he's not taking it serious. So it's a hindrance as you get older. You have to have your hand on the pulse of the changes in the world so that you can connect with
Mike,
not just your audience, but your younger
I got
audience.
a question for you.
Oh God.
No, this is a serious. I'm not bullshitting here. Did you know that the black duo that did night 2, I think, of WrestleMania, the song, did they do the anthem that night?
What about him?
Did you know who that was beforehand?
No.
Okay.
I forget their name. I didn't know who they were beforehand, though.
I thought they were good, but I'd never heard of them either. And they said something like Grammy nominated and shit. So it's like, well, that might be my privilege showing that I don't know. So I was going to ask you.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good. I didn't know who they were beforehand, though. No.
Okay, I was just wondering because again, there's so much showing up on WWE musically that I haven't.
Bruh, I thought some guy, his name says Whale, then they say Wale. I'm like, oh God. I was like, I
that's
do
the
that
oldest,
shit on purpose.
That's the oldest sounding thing you have ever said because even I know who Wale is.
Really?
Yeah, I knew who he was. I don't listen to him, but
he was involved
with
Kurt Bauer and all those guys. They had Wale Mania.
Jesus, they plugged that forever. This was like 10 years ago almost.
It feels like it, don't it?
Yeah. Wale. I mean, like, I had the advantage of having a 19-year-old next to me, and whenever I see these youngsters, I just ask him, and he'll tell me. That's how he knew who the dude was in the Prime bottle that got the shit kicked out of him by Randy
Orton. I knew who he was too, but I'll say things like, I'll walk up to him and go, "What's up, Juice WRLD?" or "What's up, Little Uzi Vert?" And he's like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "Just remember, I'm always here to know everything." You got to stay one step ahead of these kids, man.
Bro, I still don't know what the hell YEET is.
That's the second oldest thing you've ever said.
I legit have no clue what the fuck YEET means. And why did the term drip mean good, like a nice outfit? What the fuck does that even mean?
Bro.
Harper's getting old in front of our eyes.
Doc, I know you got nieces and nephews, right? But he don't live with, well, you don't live with teenagers yet either, Doc, but like two teenagers live with me. Let me just put it like that. Bruh, they speak a language unknown to the human race until they started speaking it. The whole drip, bussin', this is, they come,
Riz,
bruh.
Do y'all do Riz?
Bruh, they not only do that. Okay, it's one thing to listen to them talk, and this is why I say you gotta keep your hand on the pulse of things. This is where Watts fails.
I don't
if anybody's
have to
like, why?
I just have to know that it's happening.
That exactly. I don't have to like it, but you have to keep your pulse on it. And I'm gonna tie it into this program. My kids will start talking, and I'm like, I literally have looked at my daughter a bunch of times and go, speak effing English. And she's like, all right. And then she tries, and it's still this code language of another. It's not English. It literally is. It's not even slang. It's like another damn language because there's different.
Carney.
Bro, it's beyond carny. It's unreal. And then take it a step further. If you read their text messages, oh my God, your head will explode. There's no punctuation. There's no commas. There's no periods. I'm not even talking about capitalization. I don't care about that stuff. There are so many acronyms that are lowercase that they understand what they are. There's no periods. Nothing stops. Like, it's just a run on like of pages. And I'm like, how do you know what that says? Can you translate it? It's not, the abbreviations are abbreviations of the words that they speak that already mean something else. So there's no way for you to understand what that acronym could be, because it's a word that, like run, but it's RN, but that doesn't, it doesn't mean run. Right, it means something else.
RN is a registered nurse.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. They will come up. And so my point being, Watts is in his 50s right now. You have to have your pulse on the younger audience or your audience in general, not just the people your age, but the people, because there are kids there are parents that are buying tickets for kids to come to these events, and you aren't speaking the language of the teenager. You got just stupidity going on this show, half of which doesn't make sense. You're hemorrhaging talent. You have no tag division. You are not doing your job, and you don't have your finger on the pulse of what is current. That's a problem.
And that term bet, the fuck does that mean?
It means like, you feel me, you hear me, like,
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
Harper, are you down with cap?
I don't what? Which one's cap?
And do you know that one, Mike?
It means multiple things, Doc. When you say what
I know, but are you familiar that it gets used?
Yeah, I've heard cap, bussin,
mid.
Now, what's that mean? Medium?
Bro, I posted this meme on social media because I swear I've heard my kids say this before. No cap, this drip bussin for FR.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I'm like, and a random string of nonsense to you too, good sir. It's like they don't speak English, bro. It's a different language.
Yeah, they got Riz.
Yeah,
my kids made a character on WWE, the Rizzler. See, that's the thing, is you got to be, if you're in wrestling, you got to be ready to have a character called the Rizzler in case you need it.
Harper, that's what I'm saying. Like, it equates to wrestling, because if you're our age, if you don't have your pulse on that stuff, you will lose touch with a portion of your audience.
With the key demo.
Not just the key demo. I mean, it's like kids anywhere from 5 to 6 years old, all the way up to people our age watch wrestling. There's multiple generations in there. You have to do something to make sure you're connecting with almost all your audiences. It's impossible to always do it, but you have to at least attempt to.
Hey, you got to appreciate the fact, I don't know who You Sell Speed is or whatever that, I didn't know until I was told.
Right.
But somebody in that kid's 19 years old, which means somebody in the WWE is listening to somebody else, and they got their finger on things.
Yeet means to throw.
I feel bad for Harper.
Yeet is a slang word that functions broadly with the meaning to throw, but it's especially used to emphasize forcefulness and a lack of concern for the thing being thrown. You don't yeet something if you're worried it might break. The fuck? Now, what the fuck does that have to do with the Uzo's t-shirt? And what the fuck is he throwing?
I'm going to piss myself tonight.
Harper became his dad in the last 30 seconds. Now what the fuck does that have to do with the Usos? Oh
boy.
Oh my God. All right.
Just imagine being as confused as you are, but your own flesh and blood is causing the confusion and you're trying to figure it out.
Yeet.
Exactly.
My daughter one day was like, this drip bussin', huh, Dad? I'm like, sure.
You're
that
grounded.
Means you're lying.
Yeah.
The term
it could have multiple meanings.
To lie.
Yeah, it's
falsehood.
used a lot of like lying around here in the white peoples.
While no cap means no lie or for real.
Yeah.
The origin of the term are uncertain, but it's believed to have originated in a hip-hop culture and then spread to other aspects of African American culture before being adopted by mainstream culture.
But before hitting the suburbs.
Yeah.
Do my daughter goes to school with this girl, and she's always like, man, such and such is so big. I'm like,
no cap,
okay.
Bruh.
I'm like, yeah, she's so big, no cap, Dad. I'm like, okay, big. I'm like, that doesn't mean big, because I know who this person is, and she's a tiny girl. I'm like, so she ain't big, so what does big mean? She eats a lot. Okay. So she just eats a lot, no lie. Like, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's just one sentence that I had to decode. She eats a lot, I'm not lying. So
these aliens are going to get confused by our language one day, and just their heads will explode. That's how we're going to defeat them.
Let's work our way to the finish of this episode. No cap. Steve Williams is taking on a gentleman by the name of Owen Strong. Harper, look at this dude.
That's a big boy.
No cap.
Come on.
He answered you, Doc, and said, no lie.
Here we go.
Harper turned into Daddy Harper in no time. What are your thoughts on Owen Strong, Harper, with his flowery-looking tights pulled up to his breast?
I mean, this guy just screams jobber, bro. No cap.
Yeah. No cap. Doc, your thoughts on Dr. Death here and Owen Strong?
That's a big boy. He's about to muscle up and go. And I don't think he gets him all the way up for the finish and just sort of goes on to the finish quickly, but whatever.
It's pretty quick. It's like about a minute. It doesn't last long at all. Dr. Death is sent in there to beat this guy, and this guy is going to put him over with his tights pulled up to his breast.
What's the pattern on his tights?
It's floral.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of flowers.
Let's see. Oh, God, bro.
It's not good.
Yeah. See?
Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. It looks like 70s. Yeah.
It's almost like
the Banana Splits. Remember that show?
No. It does look funny though. It's like almost tie-dye, but then it's got the floral print over it.
Right, kind of like almost like Austin Power-ish hippie.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah.
He looks like a cross between Dustin Rhodes and Dick Murdoch.
No way, dude.
He's too frumpy looking to look like.
Yeah, for real.
But in jobber
no
version.
Cap.
No cap.
No cap, for real.
He's not the Rizzler, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeet, dog. Yeet that clothesline.
You know we have listeners now that are grabbing their kids and being like, what do they say? And I don't know. What the...
No, we just had a 20-minute discussion about that, so it doesn't really matter.
Sitting down their kids. Do you talk like this at school? Because you need to stop it.
Dude, it's... I just remember the first day, as Dr. Death does the Oklahoma Stampede with this guy. I remember the day that my daughter was like, read this text message. And I'm reading it, and I go to my wife and go, have you ever read one of these kids' text messages? She's like, it's another language. They don't have periods. There's no punctuation. There's no capital letters. There's acronyms that aren't acronyms. I mean, I'm sitting there going, I'm reading German here. It was literally like I was reading German. Oh boy. All right, Dr. Death wins. Let's go now to Brian Pillman, who Jim Ross throws a Pillman, who is with Tony Schiavone. Here that is.
Back in the locker room area is Fly-In Brian. He's standing by with Tony Schiavone.
Okay, Jim Ross, thank you very much. Very odd set of circumstances here in the locker room area, but I am with Fly-In Brian. That big match coming up against Sting and the King of Cable competition.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tony, it's amazing what a fresh outlook can do for an athlete. Who'd have thought 2 months ago Fly-In Brian would be taking on the Stinger in the King of Cable tournament, but here I am, and that's just why I've invited my former partner, the Z-Man, to come down and take a new look at his attitude.
Okay, well, here he is. Let's bring in the Z-Man right now,
Tom,
Brian.
You just don't get it, do you? You can't take a hint. Look at the new Fly-In Brian. I'm driving a brand new Porsche 911. I got a house on the hill. I got a harem of beautiful women chasing me coast to coast. And look at you. You're spinning your wheels just like old times.
You know, Z-Man, Fly-In Brian here tells me that maybe, possibly, you have the
attitude. What I'd like to know is, do you have the attitude?
Paulie, you're the epitome of bad attitude. Loser. And Flying Brian, take a look at yourself, little man. Are you proud of yourself hanging around with geeks like this, huh? Take a look at yourself, huh? You know something? I have no respect for either one of you.
Oh, come back.
Okay. There you hear it from the Z-Man along with Flying Brian and Paulie Dangerously. More action still to come, but right now, fans, let's take a look at the Clash of the Champions coming up November 18th.
It's three guys that's two dudes with a great personality and one dude who was just stale toast.
Man, I bet the Z-Man doesn't know what no cap means.
He has no Riz.
Oh.
No Riz, for real.
You bunch of geeks.
How bad was Z-Man right there with his no personality?
You've got a bad attitude. You're a bad actor.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's horrible.
That was bad, dude. It was bad. I mean, Pillman's got all this personality. Paul Lee's got this personality. They got charisma. And then the sleep monster walks in and it's time to go to bed.
Dude, he just touched everybody with his finger and they all fell into a narcoleptic slumber.
There's no cap. For real.
No cap, man. No cap. Yeet.
Throw.
We get to learn some.
What does that mean? Throw.
Wait.
Throw what?
We're going to have to learn some new words. No cap for real ain't going to work every week.
It's like, man, bro.
I don't know, but I already have a feeling that we're going to get a different tagline at the end of this show than we normally get from Harper. But who knows what's in it?
Let's keep moving because we got Robbie Walker versus Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. I don't know what the hell is happening to start this match. I rewound it so Harper could see it again, that we could focus on it. Buddy Lee Parker is a seasoned veteran. Obviously, he knows exactly what he's doing. I don't know what the hell was supposed to happen here, but
he didn't go for the. I don't. You know what? I think he was supposed to bring him up, and then he was supposed to go over his
behind.
shoulder.
Yep.
Grab a hold.
Yeah. Robbie Walker seemed to have blown the spot. It was out of sync completely, and I'm pretty sure it was Robbie Walker's fault because, again, Buddy Lee Parker's a well-seasoned pro. Ron Simmons is out at ringside giving support to Walker. Anyway, Doc, my note is the wrong guy won. What did you think?
I was wondering if this is, we've started the power plant yet. Is Buddy Lee Parker training guys? Is Bobby Walker one of his guys? And then my last note was, I was going to ask y'all, is it just me or is Walker really green?
He is. Like, he just started last week, bro.
Your question about the power plant. So this has come up on the show before. They are training people by this point, but what I don't know is at what point they started calling it the power plant.
Okay,
Right.
That's fair.
As a point of distinction, like they're like, I mean, we've seen the training session. We saw Barbarian. Remember, we saw that clip with Ice Train, slamming Barbarian. So like they're training folks. I just don't know at what point they call it the plant.
Okay.
And Robbie Walker just is lost in this match. There was plenty of botches.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a gut kick by Walker, and then Walker rolls up Parker, and Walker wins by pin. And center stage is pretty damn silent.
This was not good. This was not good.
Not at all.
Dude, this is bad, bro.
Yeah, it's not a good match.
Now remember, we're almost to the end of this part of the episode, but this isn't the end of the episode. So this was not your TV main event.
Yeah, exactly. This is just the first half of the show coming to a close.
And so I believe that this next promo is how we're going to go off the air for this week.
Yes, it is. So let's go to that now. No other thoughts on the match, Doc, as I go to this promo?
I'm afraid not.
All right. Well, Robbie Walker's with Jim Ross, and Ron Simmons is out there with him, like I said. And let's go to this quick promo. Here it is.
Wrestling move by Robbie Walker. And I tell you something, Ron, I know you've been very busy the last few weeks. This young man has come out here and stood tall for you because Cactus Jack and company were really defaming you and your character.
Well, you know something, Jim? First of all, I'd like to say this young man has got everything it takes to succeed in professional wrestling, and he's one of the up-and-coming superstars in WCW. But let me tell you something. Tony Atlas, the next time you come out here and want to downgrade Ron Simmons or anybody else, I think you should learn how to talk first. I'm going to teach you how to say your ABC the next time you come out here and want to downgrade Ron Simmons. Now, secondly, Ron Simmons needs no one to fight his battle. And by the way, that was a courageous thing you did, coming out here, taking on 2 or 3 men when they know the odds were against you. I appreciate it. I'm in your debt. The next time, Tony Atlas, Barbarian, Cactus Jack, you come out here, you want Ron Simmons. Here I am now. Come out here and get me now. Where are you now? Huh? The odds are a little bit different. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this man here and teach him everything that I know that Ron Simmons has learned in his professional wrestling career. The next time you decide to jump Ron Simmons, the odds will be a little bit different.
God. Up next, Tom Hanks.
No cap.
I don't understand why he said, "I don't need any help. I can stand on my own. Thanks for helping me last week."
Why Ron said that?
Yeah.
I mean, he's being sent out there to help get this guy over. I mean, but
I'm aware.
Walker is not. Do you think this guy should have been on TV?
He's
at
not.
This
He
point?
doesn't have the makings of a varsity athlete.
No cap.
No Riz. Yeet.
His drip ain't busting.
A little bit, but mid bus. No cap.
It's
D1?
like an airplane when she's like, "Oh, I can speak jive."
You have no.
Jesus Christ.
That's one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of another movie they'd never make today.
Yeah.
Dude. The world is just. I don't want to get into this.
I know it sucks, huh? But comedies are dead, bro. Comedies are dead.
Comedies like that are dead.
Comedies, period, are dead.
Well, not comedians aren't dead. I think comedians can still do
No,
their
I'm
thing,
saying
but...
like movies wise.
Yeah, you can't. Comedies especially though.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, so I don't give a shit about that. What I do give a shit about is how we gonna rate this first half of this episode here.
no, we don't do that. Remember, we don't rate or toot whenever we cover a half episode that we finish the back end of it the week after.
We can give the Sun the Toot Toot Award this week for its mighty impressive display.
Don't we give the Moon?
I guess that's true. It did most of the work.
Yeah, it's like the sun just was in the sky. It was the Moon that just came in and cock blocked him.
Right.
It had the spot monkey activities of jumping in front of the sun.
Yeah, the Moon was the one that jumped in front of the sun, so it was like the Moon.
The moon called the high spot in the middle of the day.
Yeah, and the sun was like, "Get your stupid ass out of here, bro! I'm trying to freaking do my gig right now."
It was like the newscaster, and then they got the drunk guy behind him.
I'm trying to warm this earth. Yeah, okay.
Well,
then I guess we're done.
I forget the comedy special that Eddie Murphy. I'm sorry, Richard Pryor filmed in New Orleans back in the 80s, and he's explaining that something happens in the street. Cop shows up, and there's a drunk guy, and the drunk guy is trying to tell the cop what he saw, and he's like, I showed this clip to my wife. I'm dying laughing because I'm like, he really did sound like a drunk man trying to explain to a cop what happened, but he couldn't explain it. And then he starts getting depressed because, you ever seen a drunk that gets depressed? It's hilarious. Anyway, I can't remember the name of this damn comedy special he filmed in New Orleans, but it's tremendous. It's on Daily Motion. I'm gonna send it to you, Harper, because it's great. Eddie Murphy. I'm sorry, Richard Pryor imitating a drunk man. On that note, Doc, anything else before we get out of here?
I'm pretty blown up.
Me too. We did that long pre-show. Harper, hit the tagline. Let's roll.
Book it, bitch.